Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about my rig, my Mitsubishi Pajero. Now I finally got it all pretty much finished. It's pretty much done. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of everything that I've done to it. What we've got under here, what we've got doing for me solo camping. So this is my 2002 Mitsubishi Pajero NM model, a 3.2 litre diesel. And I picked it up about 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago now, and it was pretty much grandpa stock. It's everything that I had. It was the guy, one owner previously, outback New South Wales. So he had a old smart bar on the front, alloy, whatever they're made of, I can't remember. It was like a bluish colour you would have seen in my other videos. He had two roof racks on. And really that was it. Probably didn't take it off-road at all. I'll be talking about everything that I've kind of done to this, but we'll start off with probably the exterior and what we've going on. But at the moment, I'm currently in Keith, so I've pretty much got it fully loaded. There's a few things not on it or in it right now because they're back at the grandparents' place. So my swag's not on the roof and a couple other little things, but pretty much everything in is currently all set up. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think this could be the best Mitsubishi Pajero Generation 3 touring vehicle out there, potentially. Not for off-roading, but for touring. I haven't done much off-roading stuff. There's no lift or anything, but yeah, we'll get into that. So we'll start with the exterior. So we'll come to the front here, and so right now I'm running an ARB bull bar that I actually picked up secondhand from another Generation 3 Pajero from Wreckers on the Central Coast. I actually picked up that a year ago, or even more, and I actually didn't get it on the car until not long before I left. It was in pretty good condition. I actually stripped it back and resprayed it myself, just with a few cans of black matte, and it's going pretty good. It was a bit of a mission to put on. We didn't get all the components that we needed. It's tend to be a case when you get old secondhand bull bars. A bull bar so I could put a winch on, and I needed some protection. The bull bar that was on the front was good, but I couldn't mount. There was no possible way to mount a winch to it. And because I'm traveling solo, I need the security of the winch. So I'm just running a King's Dominator. I haven't actually had to use it so far. I got that all running pretty well. I bought these a while ago, but just some King's Spotties, and I only recently mounted them up, which was good. That will be good for the outback. I need that light source because I've got protectors on, which are original, on the headlights. I kind of lose a bit of light coverage. I fixed all the bull bar up, and I'm pretty happy with it. If I couldn't get the ARB, I would have went with another brand. You don't need ARB. It was just easier to get a second-hand one. We're just running I don't know what size UHF antenna that is. I may need to upgrade it eventually, but I bought it. It would have been factory. He's got a radio he already installed. Luckily, I didn't have to do that. This here, now that's a new addition. My tough terrain snorkel. Now, funny the name, tough terrain, it was a bloody tough thing to mount. It just wasn't smooth sailing. We actually took off the whole fender of the front here, took it off, and we were looking at it. And the template, nothing was going well for us, unfortunately, but we did get there in the end. Luckily, Marshall's really good at what he does, and we were able to get it good. And it probably is a little bit better. We had to cut the snorkel inside here, and use sort of silicone clamps on different sections, so it's probably a little bit more stronger than it was, but we got it in the end. I needed the snorkel, better airflow, and for river crossings, which I will end up doing later on in the trap, but it was something that I would struggle to do myself, and I needed to do it on the farm, and it was one of the last jobs we did, and it was one of the most tedious jobs we did, but got it on. It's a cheap snorkel, it doesn't cost a lot. I could have got a Safari or something, but I mean, it's going to do the job, and I'm pretty happy with it. But it was one of those things that I needed to get on here just to help out the car a lot better and feel a lot safer when I was doing water crossings. So that's something new. That's one of the newest and latest, probably the final additions to the Pajero build. So under the hood here, really haven't done too much. The Pajero's, touch wood, it's been looked after, and I have been looking after myself. I really think you need to take care of your cars. It's a diesel. I've done a couple of oil changes. I just did a big one before I left. So we haven't actually done a lot in the engine here at all, like modification wise. It's a pretty reliable engine itself. If I look after it, I really don't think a catch can addition's one of those things that maybe, or a secondary fuel filter, but they're things that I don't have to do. Marshall did insist that I did get a secondary catch can, or a catch can to just help out the engine, but I'll have to do that at a later stage. But in here, there's a lot of real estate in the Pajero in the engine bay. I have a lot of room over the other side there, the airbox, to do. I don't know what else you could do. I mean, probably the fuel filter over that side or something like that. I could even you could put the battery. I have my secondary battery here. You could put it over there. Now this was a big job. I did that with my good friend Matt Patterson. One of the first kind of jobs we did. I just have I think it's an 82 amp hour battery in the front here, a smaller size. And I just bought a little mounting kit off eBay, and it works really well. It's like just really much perfect positioning for it. It would go a little bit bigger, but you'd have to really change up how you have everything mounted. So I've got all that wired in. I actually have it wired in twice. So we have a secondary positive, negative running all the way to the back of the car, but then we realized that it probably wasn't high enough gauge. I think it was 8 gauge or 6 gauge, and we end up going 10 gauge just because of you're running quite far back from the engine, and you lose. I don't know what the term is, but you got to be careful when you're getting up there. So it's all going pretty well, and that was a bit of a mission with Matt we did, and I've got a Red Arc BC DC charger, and it's not mounted extremely well. I think it's mounted pretty well, but it's not mounted to any sort of points. I actually have it in my battery tray. I have about 30 mil coverage either side of my battery in the tray, in the stock tray that comes with it, and I have my charger just sitting in there with a bit of foam, and it's got enough room there, and it's honestly going really well. Now that's a big thing, because I'm driving a lot and whatnot, and I don't have a solar panel mounted on the roof. I need to be able to charge my battery a lot, and because I don't have a bigger battery, it's quite a smaller size compared to what other builds you might find. I needed to be able to charge it a lot, and because I'm driving a lot more, I don't often stay in the one spot very often, so which is really good. This charger is very, very good. I think that one of the things that you do need to spend a bit of money on, obviously there's other brands you can get, but did a lot of research into the whole build of all this, and I found that Red Arc, for this kind of thing, it was better to get something really reliable, because I need that power for my fridge and all my equipment that I have running. So you don't often have to, if my battery is running low, I can just drive for half an hour, even less, and it's pretty much full charge. It's a very good piece. Other than that, you got some wiring in here for the spotlight and the winch and whatnot, which it's working. It's not the best, but there's a lot of excess here. I've just got a little solar connection here with Anderson plug that I've got a solar blanket I just pop in and out when I pull up for a bit and it's sunny, and just have that running. It slides out here, and yeah, other than that, I haven't done a lot in here. It's still quite factory, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think you should touch too much, and I'm not very mechanically minded. Sticking to the interior here, another little things really you'll find is I have blacked out the side of the car. You could get, I think it's Solar Shield or Solar Shade, I can't remember the brand, but you can go a lot more. You can go like an expensive brand and get it done properly, but I just bought these off. They're just window shades that I've just cut up, and I've got it on my back window. But yeah, one of the other big things is, as you notice, is these lovely tyres I have here, which are the Falcon All-Terrain, the Wild Peaks AT3 W3s. I'm just running stock tyre size 265 by 70 on 16-inch rims because I don't have a lift. I didn't want to, obviously I couldn't go bigger anyway, and I don't think I need a lift at this stage. I think when I come back around and maybe start tackling some harder stuff where I then need a bit more clearance, I'll get bigger tyres. But honestly, I think the best thing I'm going to find is if I ever need a spare or whatnot, it's a very common tyre size. And I think when you start going the outback, which is I'm doing, you got to be careful. You're not going to find those tyres as much. Bought them brand new. I've never bought brand new tyres. Very expensive, one of the most expensive pieces on this, like, additions to the car. Oh, all right, so I'm up on the roof here. It's gonna be a bit hard to film this kind of stuff up here, but maybe I'll get the drone out. But so on the roof here, I got rid of the two. Can't even remember what brand the racks were, but I got rid of them. And I hummed and hawed of what I was gonna get. I ended up going with the Kings. Now people will have what they say about Kings, but I got it just a full flat platform, and I needed that for what I have up here. I get up here quite a lot. I've got my surfboards. I've got 3 surfboards up here. I've got this big box, which I got on special, bargain at super cheap. I've got my recovery tracks up here. I've got a jerry can. I've got my stretcher, and the swag goes up here too. So I needed the rack, and it's just the King's flat platform aluminium rack. It's quite heavy. It's about 40 kilos. So I really have to watch how much I have on my roof. They really only say about 100 kilos, and I wouldn't be over that with what I've got up here. There's nothing too heavy. 20 litres of diesel. The boards aren't heavy. Swag's only like 12 kilos or so. I've got the awnings on the side. They're not that heavy either. Whatever's in here is not too heavy. Honestly, just have spares. It was a bit of a mission to mount this, and it's going pretty good so far. I've only lost a couple little bolts, maybe 2 out of it. There's quite a number when you put this thing together, and I haven't actually found where the ones I've lost go. But in the box here, I have a lot of spares, and my fire pit, my axe, little shovel in here, my compressor, a couple of tarps, some cans of WD-40 and silicone spray, recovery gear, my winch straps, shackles, all that kind of stuff is all up in here. So yeah, it's going pretty good. I probably need to rearrange it a little bit, but it's I really like this box. I got it for about $200, and I think they're worth almost double. I would say maybe 300 plus, but it was a clearance. So currently running the 2.5 by 2.5 the slimline Dachi awning. It's really good. I've been pretty happy with it. I've had it on for quite some time before I went away. Honestly, without this, you need it. I would have loved a 270 degree, but for the price, I'm talking double almost triple the price I paid for this. So maybe down the track, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's a little difficult to put out yourself when it's windy, and even in general. I've gone into a groove of how to put it out properly now, but it was a little bit of a thing to get over. I don't think it would have been in any of my videos so far, is this. Now, because I don't have the 270, I decided, alright, I was like, I kind of need this, because I've done a lot of work to the back, all my kitchen stuff's in the back. On an XTM BCF brand, so I actually haven't used all the setup fully to its like potential yet, but I did need, I think having the little awning, it's so much easier to put out if I just pull up in the day, or sometimes I don't need to put out the big awning when I pull up at night, and I can just have that out and have shade or coverage from rain. It's going to be really good. This is a budget build car, really, in all honesty. I've spent a little bit of money on some things, but overall it's fairly budget. Okay, moving on to the back of the car. Now, we're on a budget. You know, I've got my classic bin bag, that kind of thing. This is where we've done a lot of work. I've ripped out all the seats. There's 2 spares, the 6 and 7 seater in the back here, they're gone. The back 3 seats, they're gone. And with me and Marshall, we have built a frame, which you can't see too well here, but I've got a frame that actually doesn't impede with the car too much. If I can take it out and put all the seats back in, it's a frame that sits all the way back. I've got my bed when I ever need to sleep in the car, or it's raining or whatnot, in the top here, and it goes all the way back to the driver's seat. So it sits on it's a big steel frame, and it goes across here and it goes across the back, and it allows me to fit. We fit these drawers on, XTM drawers, and I got an XTM fridge slide, and it all goes fairly well. It was a bit of it wasn't a big job to do. Marshall's really good at welding, so we welded it all together, and then I recently stripped it back and painted it. Got that sorted. I've got some pieces of ply and then a piece of chipboard here as my bed frame, and yeah, that's really about it. One of the best things we did, and very much on a budget, this was a piece of, I can't even remember what type of board it is, but it was sitting around at home. Yeah, it's probably the best thing we did. The 2 XTM drawers, XTM fridge slide, which is really good, and I'm running a Dometic 75 dual fridge freezer. I spent a lot of money on it, and it's going very well so far. In here, I'm literally just running all my kitchen, pantry kind of stuff. And in the bottom one, we kind of just run all my cooking gear and kind of other kitchen gear I've got going there. All the miscellaneous kitchen stuff and whatever you kind of need. I have these couple of King's canvas bags. That's got a few other more essentials, plates, bowls, my little cooker, butane cooker, and that kind of sits there. I have another little table, which I could retire. I don't necessarily need it anymore. It's just a little one I got from Kmart, but because I have all this tables real estate now, I don't really need it. So I'm going to keep it with me because I think it's still good to have. It's just a bit of an issue when I sleep in the car. I kind of need to put it on the roof. And then I've got my, Oz Trail Director's chair, that sits all on there. So I've kind of got a bit of room on this bit here, but there's not a lot of room when I sleep. I can lay there, it's quite comfortable. I have a pretty good mattress on it, but if I've got my laptop, it kind of hits the roof, so I don't have a lot of headspace, but I mostly sleep in the swag, so it's just when it's raining or I'm in a town and I don't have somewhere to stay. The platform here, it's a little bit shaky. I've got a bit of a box here that has all my surf gear in it. Then I've got this like little 10-litre jerry can that I picked up recently, and it fits really well in this position. The only thing is, it's a little bit, when it's full, it's a little bit heavy on this. So far, comes out, can't really complain. I've got it, one of those things, real estate here. This here has legs underneath, and obviously people are familiar with the kitchen slides. I'm pretty keen to use it though, and yeah. So you probably won't be able to see it, but my 12 volt setup comes to the back here. It's just a King's box. Yes, I know, more King stuff, but it's going pretty good so far. Just got that all connected, and it's on a piece of ply hugged up against the side of the car. I've got these little grates net up against the back windows, and they kind of act as a bit of a bracket I can mount stuff to. I've got that mounted and tech screwed into the wall, and then my inverter sits on top of that as well. So it's all here. I've got my fire extinguisher, I've got a few other little things, lights, whatnot, kind of sit up against here. I still have a bit of real estate to work with. I potentially could box this in here and have a bit more of a spot on either side on the wings. One of the best things I did and most kind of inventive pieces I've added to the car is in this rear dwelling where the 6 and 7 seater sat, I was like, oh, I may as well put a water tank in. So I bought, I think it must be like a 55 or a 53 litre water tank, just a poly tank from Outback Equipment. Might have only been $100. And I've got that connected, a 12 volt pump that I bought, a Seaflow 12 volt pump, which was about $150. And I've got that connected to 12 volt box here at the back. Goes really well. It was quite tedious to get set up. Because it's got an inlet, outlet, and a breather, and I've got a water filter connected to it, but it's really good. It's going to allow me to go quite remote trips, especially having this as well. I can make this a freezer in a section and freeze a lot of food and meat that I could take. 50 litres on your own, it's a lot of water. I could really go off grid quite easily, but I found really good for me as a surfer. I've got a hose connected and I'm able to have a shower in places. I try not to use that too much when I go inland because I'm going to conserve the water. It's my drinking water, but I will use it when I can. And yeah, that's kind of the back. This frame only goes 500 mil, doesn't go too far. It goes the length of the fridge, and then I've got a bit of a spare space in the back, and I'll show you that. Where the back seats were, I have a piece of ply that goes across from this side, passenger side, to the driver's seat. And I've got a couple of boxes of more camping gear, mainly miscellaneous camping gear, winter clothes, summery clothes, more surfing gear, hiking gear that I only use when I go on bigger hikes. And then I've got a bit of space along here. And it all fits really well. I could probably get it a little bit more efficient, but I haven't got around to it yet, but it fits really well. I mean, I have a lot of stuff for somebody on their own, but in the moment here in this box, I have my gas cooker on top, and then toolbox as well is there, just a big set, which is really good. Yeah, all miscellaneous gear, my kind of clothes sit in here as well. It's kind of my wardrobe. Yeah, I've got a couple of Oki straps that I kind of have attached around the car that allow me to kind of hang some things, which is really good. But yeah, it's going really well. The frame kind of, the board sits on the frame really well. I don't have it bolted down because the weight of all the gear kind of holds it in position and it doesn't move around, it's kind of just worked out perfectly. We just had it as a spare. I think it's what I had the fridge sit on before, because originally I had the fridge was here. I don't know why I did that, but it was just the way I did it. So yeah. Now in here, it's all very much pretty basic. It's got a UHF radio already mounted in, all stock stereo radio and everything. I'm able to take one other person with me. I can rearrange everything to kind of have someone else with me, but when I'm on my own, my camera gear kind of sits with me. A couple of my other bags that I kind of need stuff, and I have this mat here at the front, and I have a lot of storage kind of float around in my dash that people may or may not agree with, but really it's quite basic. I've got a EPIRB for emergencies, a few other little things in the front here that I kind of need. I have a lot of gear. I've got a skimboard and a bodyboard that sit in the back. Yeah, no real engine tuning and whatnot. I haven't really played around with that. I don't really need to currently, which is pretty good. So it's pretty much front to back. Don't think I missed anything that I've kind of touched on camping wise and touring wise. I've kind of got everything sorted. Done it. That is my Mitsubishi Pajero 2002 NM, and yeah, I think it could be one of the best Gen 3 Pajeros out there touring for someone on a budget. Great car, love this thing. So any feedback, gonna love it. See you in the next video.